This problem is about understanding the feel of standard deviation. Do not calculate the standard deviation on this problem, but try to apply the concept of the standard deviation. So, at the end of a statistics course, students in 3 different classes rated their instructor, 1 to 9, poor to best ever. Here's the table. So class 1 rated 2, or 2 people gave him a 1 rating. Nobody gave him these ratings. 23 people gave him a 5, average. Nobody, and then 2 people gave him the great rating, 9. Class 2 had a bunch of people that didn't like him. 13 people gave him a bottom. 13 people loved him. 1 person was in the middle. Class 3 really spread out evenly. All right, so here, and then down below we have graphs of this. So here is class 1. Notice class 1. Notice there's a big, right? See the frequency. This is at a height of 23, right? 23 people gave him a 5 rating. 2 people, right here, 2 people, and this is also 2 people, gave him a rating of 1 and 9 respectively. And then class number 2, coming down here, grab it, class 2, down here, 13 gave him a bottom rating, 13 gave him a top, 1 in the middle. So there's 13 here and 13 here and 1 in the middle. All right, and then finally, class 3, if we come all the way down, it's just 3s all the way. So here's class 3. See, they're at 3 people gave each rating. Okay, so what are we doing on this problem? The question is, assume that the average rating in each of the 3 classes is 5. So the average is 5. It looks like it, right? The middle is 5, right? This data set's evenly spread, and the middle is 5. The average in this one is 5 because there's the same amount on the bottom and the top. The average on this one is 5 because there's only 1 top and bottom, or 2 above and below that. So the middle for all 3 professors got an average rating of 5. Or all 3 classes, I should say. Right? 3 different classes, they all gave an average of 5. See how 5 is the middle for all 3 pictures? Right? 5 is the middle, it's the average. And recall the interpretation of the standard deviation is typical or average distance between the data points and their mean, their middle. Judging from the table and the histograms, which class would have the largest standard and which one would have the smallest? Okay, so that's what it's all about. So it's all about remembering what is standard deviation. It's all about the feel. We're not going to calculate anything. This is just testing if you feel it. And that's really more valuable than the calculation. In real life, you're never going to calculate a standard deviation, probably, unless you do some statistics report. Instead, even if you do that, a computer just cranks out the number anyway. What's important is understanding it, because you'll read things, you'll hear things in the professional world that'll mention standard deviation. And so you want to understand, what is that? Standard deviation, first off, is average distance from the middle. So for the data points, what is their average distance from the middle? Right? Deviation means distance from the middle. Like if we say somebody is a social deviant, what do we mean? We mean their social behavior is different than normal. They act funny, right? So deviation means difference from the middle. Whenever we use that word in life, it means different distance from the middle, how far you're off the middle. So standard deviation means average distance from the middle. So we're saying, how far are things from the middle? So if that means if the data is, here, let me say if the data is very spread out, that's going to equal a large standard deviation. And if the data is very, is not, how about we just say not spread out, is not spread out, it's very clumped in the middle, I don't want to write all that, not spread out, it's piled together, then that's a small standard deviation. So standard deviation is a measure of spread, because it's the average distance from the middle. So data that's spread out more large standard deviation. Not spread out, small standard deviation. Okay, so they're asking us for these three data sets, which one has, looking at the pictures here, which one is spread out the most? That's going to be the largest data set. Which one's spread out the most? Well, this one. This is the largest standard deviation, right? 13 at the top, 13 at the bottom, only 1 in the middle. That's just totally spread out. They're far from the middle. Okay, which one is got the lowest? Which one's most in the middle? This one. This is the smallest standard deviation because it's almost all in the center. There's only 2 above the middle and 2 below. Whereas this has 13 above and 13 below. In this class, they're way above and way below. They either loved him or hated him. Whereas here, they almost all feel neutral about him. 2 people loved him, 2 hated him, but most are neutral. The class has got not very much deviation. Most people are right in the middle with not much spread out. Whereas the third one, this is a middle standard deviation. It's not high, it's not low, it's just an even spread, right? Whereas this one's totally spread out, this one's mostly clumped in the middle. There we go.